Welcome back to Mini Brothers. So today we have got to change our motor mount. So after we tuned the car, we busted our top motor mount. This is a weakness on the F56 Mini. I see a lot of these busting between 60 and 70,000 miles. I've got a little more than that on my car. So I was able to get a replacement motor mount. I decided not to go OEM. I decided to go with this company, Direnza, out of the UK. They make a race spec motor mount for the F56. So because I'm running a little more power, a little more torque, that made a little more sense to me than replacing with the OEM that I think I would have to replace again fairly soon. So let's get started on this. We've got to take out the headlight. We've got to clear some space to be able to get the old motor mount out. So let's go. So we first have to take out the headlight. It's connected by 3 bolts that are screwed into these alignment clips. And these clips are very easy to lose and also easy to break. So be really careful with these clips. There's also a 4th bolt that connects the headlight to the fender. And that one is pretty straightforward. We ended up having to replace one of these alignment clips. They're like $5 each, so be careful with those. Next is this plastic trim piece that's connected by a couple bolts and a clip, and that will give us some space to get down to another trim piece that is actually screwed into the OEM motor mount. The motor mount has these 3 bolts that are screwed through the head. Be careful with these because the head is aluminum and it's very easy to cross thread these bolts. There are 2 more bolts that connect the motor mount to the chassis. One is at a diagonal, and this is the hardest bolt to get to and is partially covered by a trim piece. I really like how this motor mount is packaged, but let's put it together. As you can see, the one I'm taking out is broken right here. This is also fractured. Wasn't completely broken out, but as you can see, the rubber is really compressed. And on this side, it was just kind of moving around, which was causing the issue. What I'm replacing it with is this. It's race spec with a polyurethane bushing. As you can see, it's a super solid design. There is no rubber to wear down. This bushing is going to last a very long time. There will be a little more vibration through the car, but I'm okay with that if I never have to change this again. Now, one of the things to note is that you can see some of the AC lines and stuff have these routers. I won't be obviously using those because I don't have those connections on the new one, so we're just gonna have to let them sit. I'm guessing race cars don't need AC lines, so they probably take them out, but that's fine. I don't care too much about that. I don't think they're gonna move very much, so we're just gonna go ahead and put this one back in now. So when you're tightening these bolts, make sure you're kind of going back and forth between them. I started with the middle bolt, and then I kind of toggled back and forth to tighten them evenly so they don't get cross-threaded. So you just want to be mindful of that when you're tightening them. How I actually got this in, I don't think I got it on videotape, but I actually slid it in this opening right here in pieces. So I took the piece, the base piece over here to the left, and then I finagled the piece with the bushing on it sort of into place, and it fit this way. So it was much easier getting in than taking the old one out. So one thing, so I had to loosen it after I started tightening it, and this bolt right here that goes through the polyurethane bushing, you want to make sure you tighten that one first. Otherwise you'll never be able to align everything. So go ahead and tighten that bolt, and then work on getting the rest of them tight. So it's starting to get dark, so I'm gonna stop here, but I've got all the bolts in with the exception of this bolt right here. There's a bolt that goes in to that hole, and as you can see, it's not lined up properly. So I'm gonna work on getting that lined up so I can get that bolt in. May not be able to do that today, so I think I need to get the car jacked up and jack up the engine a little bit to get it in the right position to be able to tighten that up. I did all of this so far without jacking up the engine. Probably should have jacked up the engine, might have been a little easier, but I figured the engine wasn't going to drop too far since I have a polyurethane bushing underneath, so I figured it wasn't going to flex too much. So we're finishing up work on the mount here. I did eventually go and I got a jack from a buddy of mine. So we got the car jacked up on one side, and we just jacked up the engine right at the transmission mount, and that seemed to line things up for us. So I'm just going to pop that bolt in and finish this up. There you have it. It's all bolted back up. I'm going to take the car off the jack now, take it for a spin, see how it feels. Let's go. So I've got the motor mount in the car now, and just taking it on a run to check it out and see how the car's shifted, how the balance of the car's changed. What I'll say is I have a lot more torque steer than I did before, and that is something that I didn't really expect this dramatic a difference just by changing the motor mount. I knew it would be much stiffer. I didn't know it would be this much more torque steer. I also didn't expect there to be this much of a difference in the level of vibration that you can feel from driving the car. You can definitely feel the vibration of the engine through the gas pedal, which is also weird because it's drive-by-wire. But you feel it through the body of the car, through the chassis. So that's something that I definitely you should definitely be aware of. It's not like the OEM motor mount where it cushions you from a lot of that. There's certain RPMs where certain RPM ranges that you feel a lot more vibration, like in that lower accelerating range. You feel a lot more vibration. It kind of sounds like I have an exhaust leak now, which is kind of weird. But I know I don't have an exhaust leak. It is the only difference is this motor mount. So that's something to keep in mind. But all in all, I'm super happy that I put this one on and didn't go with the OEM. What I'm really wondering though is, will there be a difference at the dyno? Because there's so much more torque steer that I would imagine that would translate to more torque and potentially more horsepower on the dyno. So I'm gonna likely take the car back up to the dyno and actually see if there's a difference. And I'll keep you tuned on that. But all in all, super happy with the Direnza motor mount. Definitely get that if you blow your motor mount and especially if you have a tune or something. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and leave a comment if you have some questions. I'll try and get you some answers.